My husband burned me and our two daughters to death in our home, then demanded $10 million from the property developer and married a pregnant woman. Unbeknownst to me, I had been reborn back to the day my youngest daughter was born. I could still feel the suffocating pain from the thick smoke, but the doctor held the baby up to me. "Miss, we'll start stitching now." I recognized that face. It was the same doctor who performed my second C-section. I could feel the skin and flesh of my abdomen being pulled, but I couldn't care less. I just stared intently at the small crib where my youngest daughter lay. I had actually returned to this day. In my previous life, shortly after returning home from the C-section, Jason hired an elite postpartum caregiver to attend to me. But on the 8th day after I gave birth, when I was still unable to get out of bed, he instructed the nanny to start a fire in the house, then stole my phone and locked me and my two daughters inside. He also set the smart security lock on his phone to security lockdown mode, so no one could get in or out. He turned off his phone and boarded a flight, claiming he was going on a business trip. When the firefighters broke down the door and the police contacted him, they could only notify him to come and collect the body. His sobs echoed throughout the neighborhood, and hundreds of funeral wreaths piled up in the community greenery area, demanding justice for me. In the end, he received $1 million compensation and inherited the $1 million inheritance left by my parents. Before that, I watched my two daughters die in my arms, and I eventually suffocated to death. I lingered near my home for several days and nights. Before my consciousness faded, I heard him exclaim joyfully to his mother-in-law, "Mom, I got the money. I can marry her now, and you'll soon have grandchildren." Heaven has eyes. It gave me another chance. As I emerged from the delivery room, I saw Jason's entire family rushing toward me. "Wife, you've been through so much." Jason gripped my hand tightly, his eyes red with emotion, seeming deeply moved. My mother-in-law followed behind him, looking at me with eager eyes, and said to me, "Catherine, don't worry. We'll take good care of the two girls too." I gave them a cold glance and whispered, "I'm tired. I just want to sleep." Jason didn't say a word and took me to the VIP ward. I closed my eyes, exhausted. They thought I was asleep, but I was actually replaying everything in my mind. 3 years of university, 4 years of marriage, they had all been so good at pretending. I suddenly remembered what my best friend Vicky, had told me: gold diggers are not worth it. She was right. I should have listened. Just then, through the bed curtain, I heard Jason and his mother whispering. "Is your wife asleep?" "She's asleep. She had a C-section, so it's tiring. Ugh, spending so much money, hiring the best doctor for the surgery, staying in a private room that costs thousands of dollars a night, and all for a girl? What a disaster and a waste of money." "All right, Mom, calm down. What about the other one? We registered the pregnancy a couple of days ago. You know how urgent it is over there. When do you plan to act?" Jason remained silent for a moment. "We'll handle it once she's discharged." I felt a chill run down my spine. He hadn't done anything yet. Reporting it to the police would be useless. People would just think I was crazy. But I had to protect myself. 2 hours later, I pretended to wake up from a nap. While Jason was feeding me porridge, I said to him, "Cancel the arrangements with the postpartum care worker you contacted earlier. I've booked a maternity care center. They'll come to pick me and the baby up in a couple of days." Jason's hand trembled, and he asked in a heated tone, "We've already paid the deposit. Why do we have to cancel now?" The maternity care center offers better service and is more comfortable than staying at home. You can also save yourself some trouble. "Don't worry, I'll cover the costs myself," I said calmly. Jason refused. These past few days, Big Dow has been crying non-stop for his mother. "If you take Little Pearl, nickname retained, to the maternity care center, she'll be heartbroken." He knew my weak spot. He couldn't stand seeing the eldest child cry. I had already prepared an answer. "I booked a suite, so the eldest child can come stay with us if she misses me." Jason opened his mouth, trying to find another reason to argue, but couldn't think of anything. I watched him frown as he helped me finish dinner, then said I was going to get some water, my mind heavy with worry. All night long, he tossed and turned restlessly on the nearby companion bed. The next morning, Victoria, Vicky, came to visit me with gifts. She loved the soft and white little Pearl, nickname retained, and kept playing with her by the crib. She then said to me, "Although you married below your status, these two little treasures are truly adorable. You'll be so happy in the future." Just then, Jason walked in carrying some fruit. Seeing Victoria, Vicky, dressed in a sexy, fashionable outfit, his eyes lit up. "Ching Ching is here? What a coincidence! I bought some durian. Do you want some? I heard from Catherine that you two both love it." However, Victoria, Vicky, was unimpressed by Jason's obvious flattery. A new mother just gave birth and needs to rest. She has engorged breasts. You bought this for her to eat? Are you afraid she'll recover too quickly? Jason was taken aback and felt awkward. I didn't think that far. The ward fell silent for a moment. I laughed. Come on, Ching Ching, don't mind him. Didn't you come to see little Pearl, nickname retained? Look, she seems to be waking up. Sure enough, little Pearl, nickname retained, on the baby bed moved slightly. Victoria, Vicky, brightened up and reached out to hold her little hand. Jason chuckled from the side. Ching Ching, you love children so much, why don't you have one too? The one you have will definitely look just like you, absolutely adorable. In the past, I would have thought he was just trying to flatter my friend in a desperate way. But now, I clearly saw the raw desire for Victoria, Vicky, in his eyes. Victoria, Vicky, came from a disadvantaged family background, but she worked hard and had always labeled herself a single woman, living life freely and boldly. Unlike me, the obedient girl, she dressed fashionably, had a bold personality, and was independent and clear-headed. A woman like her wouldn't even glance at a man like Jason. Seeing that Victoria, Vicky, had already turned away, Jason naturally didn't want to make a fool of himself and left. Seeing that no one was around, I called out her name, Ching Ching. "H.M.?" Victoria, Vicky, looked up at me. But the words were stuck in my throat and I couldn't speak. In my previous life, my parents died in a car accident just a year after my marriage, leaving me with only Jason and Victoria, Vicky, as my closest relatives. Back then, I would tell Victoria, Vicky, everything, but now I wasn't sure if I should tell her about my rebirth. Perhaps, it's better not to say anything yet. After all, such a thing isn't easy for someone to accept. Never mind. I smiled. I just suddenly felt that being single like you is pretty good, free and unburdened. Victoria, Vicky, sighed helplessly. You're the one who chose this path. What can others do? I nodded and suddenly asked her, Ching Ching, what do you think will happen to DeBeo and little Pearl, nickname retained, if I die one day? Why are you saying such unlucky things? Victoria, Vicky, immediately started spitting. But I said seriously, I'm being serious. If something happens to me one day, please take care of my two daughters. Victoria, Vicky, looked at me, her smile fading, her expression growing serious. Chin Chin, do you sense something? I stared at her for a few seconds before bursting into laughter. No, it's probably just postpartum overthinking. After all, I just narrowly escaped death. Victoria, Vicky, finally relaxed, scolding me playfully, don't say such things in the future. But I knew my path ahead was still fraught with danger. Jason had already set his sights on me. Even if he didn't have the chance now, he would find another opportunity to strike. If I had to go through it all again, I didn't know if I could escape unscathed and turn the tables to send him into the abyss. 5 days later, staff from the maternity care center drove to the hospital and took both me and the baby there. I also stopped by my home to pick up my older child. Jason was worried and said to me, I think I'll stay with you too. You're alone with 2 children, and your wounds aren't even healed yet. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it. In the past, I would have been deeply moved by his tenderness and consideration. But now, the closer he gets to me, the more I feel a chill run down my spine. I refused without hesitation. No, I can't rest well with so many people around. Jason looked at me deeply for a moment and suddenly said, "Catherine, what's wrong with you lately? You've never been this cold to me before." I didn't respond and checked into a suite at the maternity care center. That night, I dreamed again of the fire from my previous life. I was dragging my torn wounds across the ground, struggling to move, my voice hoarse from screaming, begging someone to save my child. But there was nothing. I woke up drenched in cold sweat and saw a dark figure standing by my bed, holding my phone. The faint glow of the screen reflected on Jason's face, making him look disgusting and terrifying. "What are you doing?" I screamed. Jason was startled by my shout and almost dropped the phone, quickly putting it back in my hand. "Nothing, I just thought you've been acting a bit off lately, so I wanted to check your phone to see if something happened." Jason came over with a worried expression, wrapping his arms around me. "We're married, you can't handle things alone." I pushed him away without expression. "I'm tired, really tired," I said seriously. "I just want to rest. Go back first." Seeing that I wasn't budging, Jason left reluctantly, glancing back every few steps. After he left, I immediately called the staff over and had them check every corner of my room. Only after finding nothing unusual did I feel at ease. Thankfully, I had already set a new password for my phone. When I unlocked the screen, it showed the prompt that the password had been entered incorrectly multiple times and the screen was locked for 5 minutes. That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, because I could sense that Jason and the others were getting desperate. If the woman outside was indeed pregnant and had already registered the pregnancy, she must be at least 2 months along, and she was probably constantly pressuring him. I simply couldn't imagine a woman who was pregnant being so heartless as to hire someone to kill her wife and daughter. I know I've been acting unusually these past few days, but whenever I think about what happened in my previous life, I simply can't bring myself to cooperate with him in this charade. But the more I want him to stay away from me, the more they won't leave me alone. The next morning, I hadn't even finished my nap when I heard loud arguing in the living room, mixed with little Pearl's, nickname retained, cries. "I knew it! You people at this maternity care center are all taking bribes and not doing your jobs properly. You stripped this newborn baby naked. What if she catches a cold? What if she gets pneumonia? Can you take responsibility for that?" I heard my mother-in-law shouting outside the door, while the on-duty nanny patiently explained, "Auntie, we're just doing some baby massage. You're lying through your teeth. What kind of oil and cream are you putting on my granddaughter? What if it ruins her skin? Did you prepare these diapers? You're ripping us off with these expensive ones. A pack of diapers costs $100? What kind of postpartum meals are these? They're like cat food. Who can eat that and feel full? You actually opened the window? Don't you know you're not supposed to let the wind blow on a newborn during the postpartum period? Turn off the AC unit." The postpartum nurse couldn't take it anymore. "It's July. How can we not turn on the AC unit? We opened the window for a while in the morning to ventilate the room." But my mother-in-law was being unreasonable. "Give me my money back." "I don't care, I want my money back. I could throw $10,000 into the water and it wouldn't make a sound." I dragged my sick body out of bed and moved to the door, saying in a low voice, "Enough." I allowed them to do this. My mother-in-law and Jason both turned to look at me. Great, so Jason was there too, and he didn't say a word, just enjoying watching his mother make a scene. He stepped forward to help me up, with a hint of reproach. "Catherine, Mom is just trying to help you. If you really care about me, stay away from me. Don't think I don't know your mother is just looking for a fight." I replied coldly. But before I could finish, my mother-in-law came over and started yelling at me. "Do you think I'm giving you face? I've already said that even with 2 daughters, we don't mind. I can take care of you at home. Why did you have to go and get yourself into this maternity care center? You paid for it yourself, so you think you're something? Let me tell you, you married my son, so how the money is spent is up to him, not you." So she couldn't help but show her true colors? The commotion in my room finally caught the attention of the maternity care center manager. 2 staff members rushed over to pull us apart, trying to reason with my mother-in-law, but the stubborn old woman insisted they refund the money, threatening to call the police and sue them in court. After 2 hours of heated arguments, the director sighed and said to me, "I'm sorry, Ms. Chin. We'll refund you the full amount. Please take your family and go home. If this continues, other pregnant women will be affected." Jason and his mother were overjoyed and started packing my things to go home. My heart raced with anxiety, and I quickly called Victoria. "Vicky Ching Ching, can I stay at your place for a while? I won't bother you, I'll find an auntie to take care of us, and I'll pay you rent." Victoria, Vicky, was at work at the time. Upon receiving my call, she rushed over. "What's going on?" Jason and his mother stood aside, saying nothing, but they were still holding the luggage and the maternity bag. The manager briefly explained the situation, and Vicky's face turned cold. "Please send 2 staff members to escort us out." Vicky, snatched my luggage from Jason's hands and said firmly to me, "Let's go to my place." Perhaps because Vicky, had always given off an intimidating aura, Jason and his son, though looking displeased, dared not approach us again. I carried Dabao, held Little Pearl, nickname retained, and followed Vicky, back to the apartment she rented. Fortunately, she never skimped on herself, and the place was a 3-bedroom apartment, spacious enough for us. I also contacted a domestic service company on short notice to hire an auntie to take care of me. Once everything was settled, Vicky, sat down beside my bed and whispered, "Just stay here with me. Don't worry, I'll never let that mother and son bully you." Her protection and comfort at that moment felt like a lifeline to someone drowning. The pain I had been holding inside for days finally poured out, and I cried out loud in her arms. Vicky, held me tightly, trying to comfort me. Don't cry. A new mother shouldn't be so upset." "But, what happened? Tell me the truth. How did your relationship with Jason's family suddenly deteriorate so much? Do they dislike Little Pearl, nickname retained?" I shook my head. "No, he's cheating on me, and the other woman is already pregnant. He wants to abandon us. His family doesn't like daughters, and his mother wants a grandchild, but she's too attached to the money I earn." Vicky, looked shocked. "What? He actually did that? Damn it, he's been living off us, and now he has the nerve to cheat. Divorce him. Damn it. Tell me who that woman is, and I'll go tear them apart right now," she said, gritting her teeth. I could only shake my head again. "I don't know. There's one thing I know, that if I tell you, you might think I'm crazy. But please believe me, I'm not lying, and I'm not sick. Everything I'm saying is true." Vicky, saw the serious expression on my face and gradually calmed down. "Go on, I'm listening." "I was reborn. I told her everything Jason and the others had done to me and my 2 daughters in my previous life, and when I reached the most painful part, I couldn't help but cry uncontrollably." Vicky, turned pale, helped me calm down by patting my back, and said angrily, "You're a beast. Do you believe me?" I gripped her hand tightly. "I believe you. We've been together for 20 years. I believe everything you say." She gripped my hand in return. "Your body is still weak and can't withstand any more turmoil. Stay here and recover for a month, then we'll figure out what to do next." The days that followed were relatively peaceful. Jason and his group initially tried to contact me frequently, urging me to return home. But after seeing that I refused to go back, they gave up and started acting recklessly. Jason's mother even started spreading rumors in the neighborhood and among our relatives, saying that I had cheated on Jason, that Little Pearl, nickname retained, wasn't his biological child, but the child of an adulterer, and that I had fled with the child out of fear that they would discover our affair. As for evidence, she claimed that I had secretly locked my phone and refused to let Jason see it, which must mean I was hiding something. Even such absurd rumors were believed by many people. These days, my phone is filled with all sorts of messages, but I haven't replied to a single one. Finally, Jason saw that no matter how much he pressured me, he couldn't get anything out of me, so he couldn't hold back anymore and called me. Catherine, I don't know what you've been doing behind my back, but I've accepted it. Anyway, you're the apple of your parents' eyes, and your family has never looked at me as anything. Jason said on the phone, I've already filed for divorce. You're the one at fault. Get ready to leave penniless. What? Since you couldn't kill me, you want to use this method to force me to give up my property? I laughed coldly. You're dreaming. That's all the inheritance my parents left me. The will clearly states it's only for me. The house, the car, the company, even though you're using them, they're all mine. What right do you have to make me leave penniless? But Jason wouldn't give up, saying that if I didn't agree, don't blame him for doing something extreme, disregarding our father-daughter bond. I thought of DeBeo, who was already 5 or 6 years old. I couldn't keep her locked up at home forever. If she went out, she might be targeted by Jason. I remained silent for a moment and asked, where are you now? I had arranged to meet Jason at the court for a mediation hearing in the afternoon. Fortunately, I had just finished my postpartum period and could move around freely. I didn't tell Vicky, about this. She was already busy enough at work, and I had already caused her enough trouble. If giving him enough money could ensure our safety, it might not be a bad option. After all, he only wants money, and all he knows about my assets is the half my parents left me. The other half is held in Hong Kong by my parents as a security fund, with $50,000 transferred monthly into an account in DeBeo's name. Jason's family has no idea about this. After all, before I got married, my parents always said they didn't think Jason and his son were reliable, so they made sure to leave a contingency plan. At 2 p.m., we met at the courthouse entrance as planned. Vicky, sent me a message asking where I was. She had gone home for lunch and didn't see me, so she was worried. I didn't reply yet, thinking I'd explain after the mediation ended. But just as Jason and I were about to enter the courthouse, his phone rang. Jason glanced at me, turned away, took a few steps, and began to walk toward a tree, speaking quietly to the person on the phone. I took the opportunity to move closer and hide behind a trash can to listen. I'm at the courthouse now, she said. I'm willing to leave with nothing and give you all the money. I should have told you beforehand, but I didn't have a chance. You can't hide your pregnancy for long, so this is the only option. This. She shouldn't be lying to me. I know how much money she has. She's not that complicated, and she's timid. She can't deceive me. Let's try to resolve this peacefully instead of taking such a risky path. What? Go back? You're going to act? What do you mean she won't let me go? Make yourself clear. Rebirth? Wait, you mean she's come back from the dead? Before Jason turned around, I quickly backed up a few steps and returned to my car. I caught him glance at me in panic before he quickly turned back. I pretended nothing was wrong, but my hands were trembling. The fact that I was reborn is known to only one person. They've hidden it so deeply. Thinking about my 2 daughters still at Vicky's house, my heart was pounding so hard I felt like it was going to jump out of my throat. I wanted to fly back immediately, but I couldn't let Jason notice anything was wrong. Fortunately, Jason walked over quickly and said to me, "There's an urgent matter at the company. I need to go back first. We'll discuss the divorce later." I forced a smile, which looked more like a cry, as you wish. After watching Jason's car leave, I immediately got into my own car and rushed back to Vicky's house as fast as I could. On the way, my mind was racing. When did Vicky, and Jason start seeing each other? I remembered 2 years ago on my birthday, Vicky had drunk too much at my house and was resting in the guest room. Jason had also drunk a lot and was reeking of alcohol, so I sent him to the small room to sleep. For a while after that, Jason was working overtime almost every day. During that time, Vicky, was said to have started dating a wealthy boyfriend, but she never told me the details. I was completely focused on my child and didn't ask much. Every time Jason saw Victoria, Vicky, in front of me, he acted interested yet timid. I thought he had the desire but not the courage, but it turned out Victoria, Vicky, had him completely under her thumb. The more I thought about it, the more scared I felt. When I returned home, I saw Victoria, Vicky, sitting on the sofa, with DeBeo lying on her lap playing with a tablet. The nanny was in the room putting little Pearl, nickname retained, to sleep. Seeing me come back, Victoria, Vicky, smiled at me and said, "Where did you go? Why didn't you reply to my message?" I sighed and threw my bag on the floor, changing my shoes. Jason asked me to go to divorce mediation, but he stood me up again. We should have divorced long ago. Victoria, Vicky, patted DeBeo and told her to go play elsewhere, then went into the kitchen to pour me a glass of water. She handed me 3 white pills and said, "The nurse said you left in a hurry this morning and didn't take the medicine the doctor gave you. Your postpartum discharge hasn't fully subsided yet. Don't take it lightly, otherwise, you'll have to undergo uterine evacuation again." Yes, the doctor prescribed medication to help with postpartum discharge, and it looked similar to what she gave me. But I knew this wasn't the right medication. I took them and frowned. These pills are as big as my fingernail, and I can't swallow them. I'll go to the kitchen to cut them up. Victoria, Vicky, was about to follow me into the kitchen but was suddenly stopped by DeBeo, who wanted her to turn on the TV. While complaining loudly to her about how irresponsible Jason was, I quickly rummaged through the medicine cabinet in her kitchen and replaced the pills with 3 calcium tablets. Fortunately, I was already familiar with the layout of her house. But at that moment, I spotted a cardboard box hidden inside the gas cabinet. I gently kicked open the cardboard and saw a whole box of black coal. Looking back at the 3 pills she had given me, I suddenly understood. Sleeping pills plus charcoal, she only needed to wait until I fell asleep, then send the aunt away, and she could arrange for me to commit suicide in her home. She could say it was because my marriage was unhappy, I had become depressed, and I couldn't see a way out. If she could poison me, why couldn't I do the same? I took the calcium tablets and warm water, swallowed them in front of her, and frowned. "You have no idea how much I hate taking medicine. It's such a hassle." Victoria, Vicky, saw me swallow them and sighed in relief. "How can your body get better if you don't take them?" I glanced at her abdomen without saying a word. My mouth tasted bitter. I returned to my room, pretended to charge my phone, and took out 5 tablets of misoprostol that the doctor had prescribed for me. This stuff promotes uterine contractions, which helps with postpartum discharge, but it can also easily cause a miscarriage. I took the pills into the kitchen and opened the fridge. "The cream cake you bought for DeBeo yesterday will go bad if we don't eat it. Let's finish it, don't waste it," I said, preparing to cut the cake. Victoria, Vicky, was just waiting for me to fall asleep and didn't have time to pay attention to such things. She was sitting in the living room with DeBeo, helping him choose a cartoon. I quickly crushed the pills into a powder and sprinkled them over the cake. It was all white and couldn't be seen. Perhaps because of the pregnancy, or perhaps because the plan was about to succeed, Victoria, Vicky, who had always been against sugar, was willing to eat the cake with me and even ate most of it. We ate and chatted idly, mostly complaining about Jason and his mother. I must admit, her acting was really good. After about half an hour, I pretended to yawn. "I'm tired. I'll go take a nap. You probably still have to go to work, right?" Victoria, Vicky, nodded. "All right, go ahead and rest. But I'm a bit busy today and might have to work overtime. There's nothing left in the fridge, so I'll ask the maid to buy some groceries for dinner. You and the kids stay home and relax. I'll make sure she comes back quickly." It was time to act. I smiled and nodded. "All right, go ahead." I went back to my room and pretended to sleep. I heard Victoria, Vicky, tell DeBeo to watch TV and not run around, then she told the nanny to put little Pearl, nickname retained, to sleep in the crib and hurried her out to buy groceries. After that, I heard her enter the kitchen. 5 minutes later, Victoria, Vicky, came out of the kitchen and left the house. I waited a few more minutes to make sure she wasn't coming back, then quickly got out of bed and rushed to the kitchen, turned off the gas, and opened the windows to ventilate the room. Luckily, the charcoal hadn't caught fire yet, just a bit warm. I immediately changed to Bao's shoes, picked up Xiaobao, and called my parents' close friends from when they were alive, asking them to temporarily take care of the children. I promised to arrange a nanny for them and assured them it wouldn't be too much trouble. Fortunately, the older generation had a good relationship and cared deeply for the younger generation, so they agreed quickly. After dropping off the children, I changed into black clothes and a black hat and went to the only women's hospital in the city. Pregnant women who have miscarried are treated on the second floor. Victoria, Vicky's child was over 3 months old, so even if she had miscarried, she would definitely need a uterine evacuation. I walked slowly past one ward after another and finally heard Vicky's angry and pained voice at the door of a room. "What? No one is at home? Good for nothing. I told you to go downstairs and keep an eye on her, why didn't you go?" There was no doubt she was yelling at Jason. "I don't want to hear your excuses. Why are you asking where I am now? I'm telling you, she's already left because she must have found out. I can't get involved anymore. You figure it out yourself, or you'll never see me or the child again. I don't care what method you use, I only care about the result." After listening to her call, I turned and returned to the nurse's station. "Hello." I took out the photo of me and Vicky, and asked, "Could you please tell me about my friend? I just found out she's in trouble, but she's in a bad mood and doesn't want to see anyone. I just want to know how she's doing." The nurse looked at the photo and understood immediately, "Just comfort her. Her baby had a stillbirth, and she just checked in." "What's the reason?" I pressed further. The nurse was busy and growing impatient. These days, many young women experience miscarriages for various reasons. It could be lifestyle habits, accidental injuries, or genetic issues. It's hard to say. Besides, her baby was only 3 months old, it's naturally unstable at that stage. I understood. This meant it was highly unlikely they'd trace the drugs back to me. I thanked her and left the hospital immediately. From what I overheard Vicky, and Jason discussing on the phone earlier, she probably still wants to keep this from Jason. After all, Jason and his mother value their grandson and my money above everything else. Their urgency to eliminate me is likely motivated by this child. I've had 2 cesarean sections, they know I can't have children anymore. If Vicky's child is lost, Jason might not want to kill me so quickly. I checked into a hotel, had something to eat, and started planning what Jason might do next. Vicky, has already made it clear that he won't let me off the hook. The next morning, my phone rang. It was Jason. I answered, "What do you want now?" "Don't pretend." Jason sighed on the other end. "I know you already know about me and Vicky, and you hate us. Let me be honest with you, I don't really want to kill you. Come out, let's talk about how to divorce. Let's part ways amicably, I just want the money. Don't worry about what I'll do to you. Let's meet in a public place." I agreed to talk. After all, the divorce isn't finalized yet, so we need to reach a conclusion. Since I can't avoid it, I might as well face it. Jason indeed arranged to meet me in the lobby of a restaurant. Although there weren't many people inside, the main road was visible from outside, making it easy to call for help. When I arrived, he was already sitting there with his mother. I sat across from them and forced a smile. "Go ahead, what do you want?" The mother-in-law raised her eyebrows, about to speak, but was stopped by Jason. "I know I was wrong. I'm sorry for what I did. But Catherine, you have to believe me, I really didn't want to do it. I was forced into it. I had no choice." The mother-in-law muttered under her breath, "If it weren't for the sake of the grandson, that vicious and seductive woman wouldn't have been allowed into our house." "Mom!" Jason glared at her. It seemed he was quite protective of Vicky. He must truly care for Vicky, and he had to admit she was quite skilled. Your family's standards are pretty high. I mocked. You want her to be beautiful, rich, obedient, and willing to give you a son. Otherwise, you'd just kill her, right? Have some drink to calm down. Jason said to me in a conciliatory tone, I know you've had it tough too, but since things have come to this, why don't we both compromise? Ching Ching told me that your parents set aside some money for you. That's considered hiding assets, right? So, give me all the property we have now, and I promise I won't bother you anymore, and I won't let Ching Ching come after you either. How about that? I looked at Jason's face, my hands itching. I loved you too, but feelings are complicated. Jason looked regretful and wiped his face. Let's just let each other go, okay? I hesitated for a moment, playing with my phone. Let me think about it. If I agreed right away, that would be the real deal. But my mother-in-law didn't seem satisfied with Jason's arrangement and was pulling on his arm. Jason had no choice but to drag her to another table to talk. Before leaving, he said to me with a smile, You haven't eaten yet, have you? I just ordered this. You can eat while you think. We won't disturb you. We'll wait for you nearby. Wait for me? Probably just to keep an eye on me. I stared intently at the glass of orange juice in front of me. I didn't know what was in it, but it was probably something that could kill me. Poisoning someone in a restaurant means the evidence would be quickly cleaned up. This place is old and doesn't have surveillance cameras, so evidence would be hard to find. As long as there's no evidence, even if others suspect something, they'd have to let it go. If the dose wasn't too high, I might not show symptoms until I got home. As my only relative, he could claim I had postpartum depression and swallowed pills to commit suicide, sign the papers, and have me cremated quickly. They were still whispering nearby, and I could faintly hear a few words. It was probably his mother trying to get him to take the money my parents left me. I took out my phone and opened Vicky's profile. Jason said he wanted to reconcile with me and split the property evenly. He also said that everything that happened before was because you forced him. After sending the message, I turned off my phone. Vicky, no longer had her child and had lost her leverage. If she lost control over Jason, she might go mad. Soon, Jason's phone rang. I could faintly hear Vicky's angry voice from where I was. Jason quickly took the phone and found a quiet place to explain to her. His mother also hurried over to listen in. Taking advantage of the opportunity, I placed my cup on the opposite side, picked up the cup from across the table, and quickly poured half of the drink onto the potted plant behind the chair. By the time Jason had finally calmed Vicky, down and returned, he saw me standing up. I agree to your terms. Give me 2 days to sort out the assets, and then we'll divorce. I'll take the children abroad and never see you again. I told him. Jason gave me a deep look and nodded blankly, all right. Before leaving, I turned back to look at him. He was staring expressionlessly at the nearly empty cup in front of my seat. His mother was shouting not to waste it, and drink the pastry I hadn't touched and the 2 cups of drink they had left. The waiter stood by disdainfully, waiting for them to finish before clearing the tableware. Vicky, sent me a message, don't get too cocky. Cocky? I'm not cocky, I'm just sad. That night, Jason called me and screamed at me, You bitch, how dare you harm my mother? What does the more you're in the wrong, the more you argue mean? I finally understood it today. I laughed on the phone. What happened to your mother? Jason paused on the other end, unable to speak. I recorded it. Tell me exactly what I did to your mother. I pressed him. He dared not speak. What could he say? He tried to poison me, but ended up accidentally killing his own mother? I have never purchased any illegal drugs. What about you? Can you withstand an investigation? I continued to ask. Jason cursed angrily and hung up the phone. He dared not report it to the police, otherwise, they would only find him. But I had no intention of letting him off the hook. I sent her the room number of Vicky's hospital ward that I had photographed yesterday. Don't worry, your mother won't be alone. Your precious son has already shown her the way. Didn't she want to hold her grandchild? Her wish was fulfilled 6 months early. If you don't believe me, go to the women's hospital right now and check that ward. See if your precious Ching Ching just had a uterine evacuation surgery. Jason didn't respond, but I knew he saw it. I sent him a few more photos of Victoria, Vicky, from her social media account, including one of her dancing at a bar and another of a large group of men and women partying. I asked him, "Did you two start dating 2 years ago? Do you know who all the handsome guys around her have been over the years? Guess why she would get rid of the baby and keep it from you? Is the child yours or someone else's? Did she make that clear? You're just a tool she used to get money from me, you fool." I blurted out a bunch of nonsense, not caring if it was true or not. Jason had just lost his mother and was emotionally unstable. Who knows what he might do? I couldn't miss this kind of commotion. I got out of bed, put on my outfit, and headed to the hospital. Just as I arrived, several police cars sped in. Special forces rushed upstairs, and the hospital was in chaos. People were running everywhere, and the air was filled with screams. They were saying someone was wielding a knife upstairs, hacking a girl who had just had an abortion until she was barely alive. Soon after, Jason was brought downstairs with bloodshot eyes, while Victoria, Vicky, was rushed into the emergency room covered in blood. Specialists from other hospitals rushed in, borrowing the obstetrics ward's operating room for emergency surgery. I saw that young nurse again. "Hello, can I go see my friend later?" The nurse recognized me and sighed, "It depends on the situation. We don't even know if she'll make it out alive. She didn't survive." But before her family arrived from out of town, I was allowed to see her one last time because I proved I was her closest friend. Victoria, Vicky, started crying as soon as she saw me. Why? You, buying bags, jewelry, tens of thousands of dollars, without batting an eye. I'm prettier than you, why can't I?" His sobs echoed throughout the neighborhood, and hundreds of funeral wreaths filled the entire green area of the community, demanding justice for me. She spoke to me intermittently for half an hour. Jason was trash, she didn't even look at him, but anything I had, she wanted to take. Plus, by getting Jason, she could get my money. Her parents were divorced, no one cared about her, she had been struggling alone in the big city for years, still renting a place, and owed a mountain of debt. The luxury items she bought with loans couldn't satisfy her vanity, but instead dragged her deeper into despair. Even on her deathbed, she still believed that I was only better off because I was born into a better family. At dawn, I left the hospital to see my daughter. They were sleeping peacefully, their heads pressed together. The aunts and uncles looked at me with concern, as if they knew something had happened, but they were considerate enough not to ask. Soon after, Jason intentionally killed his own mother, committing a heinous crime, and was sentenced to death, to be carried out immediately. I didn't want to see him, just as he hadn't bothered to see us before we died in our previous life. In the days that followed, I had no intention of remarrying, only wanting to live a peaceful life with my 2 daughters. Beyond life and death, everything else is trivial.